If you just tune in, you listening to In the Community with Dr. Thelma and Lady Parrish, right here on your favorite two-time Stellar Award-winning radio station, WEHA Gospel 88.7, 100.3 FM. We have gospel. This broadcast has been brought to you today by the Hawks family businesses who have been serving our community for over 30 years, and Beacon Hall turning moments into memories, and the Tabernacle Church of Christ, Bishop Otis Grayson, and Shepherd Mother Betsy Grayson. Thank you so much for sponsoring In the Community with Dr. Thelma and Lady Parrish. And as I said on last week, I am very elated that the churches for this quarter has sponsored our show. Thank you so very much. If you want to sponsor our show, you can go to www.wehavegospel.com and put in the caption "In the Community" with Dr. Thelma and Lady Parrish, and give your donation on that way for sponsorship. Also, we have an 8 for 88 point campaign, and WEHA does, and you can pay $8 a month. You can also go to the webpage www.wehavegospel.com and join the 8 for 88 campaign. All right, we got a wonderful program for you on today, and we want to make sure that you know everything that is going on in our community. There will be a food giveaway on the 20th, I believe, at Redeeming Love, and I want to make sure that I have the time, but I know it's on Monday, and the last time that they did it was around 4 o'clock. So if someone is listening to me from Redeeming Love, call me and make sure that I have the correct time for the food giveaway. Also, there will be a Community Food Bank of New Jersey and the Local 54 Casino Employee Food Distribution. And that's going to be on April the 22nd from 10 a.m. to 2 o'clock p.m. And this is going to be held at the Harbor Square Mall, formerly the Shore Mall, 6725 Black Horse Pike, Egg Harbor Township. And for the safety of our community, this is a drive-by distribution. They're asking that your trunk is clear for the prepackaged boxes. You must provide a casino employee ID. For more information, you can contact 609-383-8843, extension 123. Also, Atlantic Electric, they are not going to give any late fees if you're late paying your electric bill. There will not be any late fees until June 1st. And so I believe you have to call, though. They don't automatically take the late fee off. You have to call in about it, and then everything will be taken care of. Okay? I want to make sure that my listening audience is totally aware of any help or anything that we can do to be a help. We want to do that and make sure that you're totally aware of things that are going on in our community. Also, and that also works with your regular bills too. Your regular bills, if you call, they will take the late fee off, and you don't have to pay the late fee on your bill because of this pandemic that we're in. And I'm just praying, like many of you, that this curve will flatten. It will flatten, and in the name of Jesus, that this will flatten, and we'll be able to. I don't think anything will ever be the way it was, but it things will get a little better. I'm going to call on Lady Parrish and let her tell you some things that she has. But in the before I do, I just want to say some people got their stimulus checks. I was one of them. Ooh. And you know, you had to have an account. You had to have a bank account.
Okay.
All right, but there's still help for you if you did not have a bank account. And I've been posting things on my Facebook page, and where you could go to the IRS,
right,
and you can follow those instructions on what you need to do, irs.gov, and it will tell you what you need to do in order to get your stimulus check. Now, for the senior citizens, the stimulus checks were supposed to start yesterday and start rolling out into their bank accounts, but you had to have a bank account. I was talking to someone and they said they didn't get it. I said, well, did you get automatic deposit? They said, well, no, I normally get a check. I said, well, it takes about 90 days. Although they said they're working on the checks, I can't speak for the federal government, but if you go on the IRS.gov, it'll tell you exactly what you need to do. I also want to thank Governor Phil Murphy, along with all of the other workers that have been working. He's been very transparent. He's been up to date. He has a video out every day on Facebook or social media giving you updates on things that are being done in the state of New Jersey. And so go to that and look at that, or look at the website. They got one specifically for COVID-19.
right,
And look at that. It will have all of the latest information. They put in extra workers for the unemployment. And I also want to say the best way to sign up for unemployment is not through the phone. You got to go online. For 3 weeks, I was calling on the phone, and I wasn't getting through. But I was able to go online and get through. So you can get through if you go online, and you got to have some type of equipment to go online. All right, so that's very, very important for you to do. I do have someone calling in.
Is that our caller?
I'm not quite sure, but we'll find out in a minute. Who's calling in on the show? Yeah, they'll pick up in a minute. So we want to say those are some things that can be done. Hello, caller.
Good morning, Dr. Thelma Witherspoon and Lady Parrish. This is Deacon Hawks.
Oh, hi, Deacon Hawks. How are you?
Good. I am going to let you get back to your show, but you had mentioned Governor Phil Murphy, and just as a program note, Governor Murphy will be calling into WEHA on the NAACP Speaks program with Kaleem Shabazz and Yolanda Melville on Tuesday at the 5 o'clock hour.
Well, we were getting ready to announce that, but we do appreciate you calling in, and we don't have to announce it now.
Yes, you throw my thunder.
Well, you know something. If you want to, just announce it at the end, and then that way.
Well, no, you've already done it. We have an incoming call. Hello.
Information out though.
Hello, this is Dr. Polite.
Oh, hold on, Dr. Polite. We'll be right with you, sir.
Thank you.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
All right.
Hold on.
We just have a couple of more announcements, Dr. Polite. We're so excited that you're calling in on our show today. Lady Parrish?
Yes. Good morning, Dr. Polite.
Good morning, Mary.
Can you turn yourself up a little louder?
I'll try.
Okay. We want to say welcome to WEHA Gospel 88.7 FM and 100.3, and in the community with Dr. Thelma Witherspoon and yours truly as co-host. It is our pleasure to introduce Dr. Robert C. Polite of the Polite Care and Medical Restoration Solutions of Ohio.
Yes.
Thank you for calling in from Ohio.
My pleasure.
Well, thank you.
Pleasure.
Thank you. I looked you up, so I know a little bit about you, but I would like for you to tell my listening audience where you went to school and what you've done, educational wise.
Okay. Well, I first attended Temple University in Philadelphia, where I was born and raised, and I received my bachelor's of biology and science. During that time, I uh, got involved in a summer program at Ohio University College of Osteopathic Medicine during my undergrad years at Temple. I did their summer program, which included anatomy, physiology, pharmacology, biochemistry, all the things that you would need when you go when you attend medical school. So I did that, and I did well enough where I actually got accepted into medical school in my junior year of undergrad. So by the time I graduated undergrad, I already knew where I was going. I had a full 4-year scholarship to medical school. So it was time to leave Philadelphia and head to Ohio.
Oh,
Yeah, so it was quite an experience going from an urban city to a rural area. That was a shock in itself, but I managed to get through the medical process there, medical school. I first started out, I was going to be a neurosurgeon and actually started down that track, and then decided that I didn't like to be in the hospital a lot, didn't like not being home. I recently gotten married, and so I decided to go into family medicine instead, and that was the best move I think I made. And I did 3 years of residency after medical school in family medicine. Then I got board certified in family medicine. I also got certified in integrative medicine and also addiction medicine. So currently in my practice, I practice both addiction medicine and integrative medicine. And that's where I am today.
and you are still in Albany, Ohio?
Yes, New Albany, Ohio.
New Albany, Ohio. And
Yeah,
I'm so glad that you called in, and I want to thank Lady Parrish for making that connection with you, because we want to talk to the people, and we want you to talk to the people on how to build up their immune system, during this COVID-19, and when it's over with, that people can take these tools and continue to stay healthy. Because as a community, I think we've fallen short a little bit, not everybody, but as a whole, with our health. And a lot of people are being affected with COVID-19 is because they're not healthy.
Right. Correct. Well, there's a lot here. Actually, I was just on a call yesterday with some of my Boulay brothers, and we were talking about the whole COVID-19 and what it means for particularly the African American community. And what we know is this: that if you are obese, if you are have that issue, if you have diabetes, if you are a smoker, if you have COPD, you are at a higher risk of contracting this COVID-19.
Right.
Now, what people need to understand is this COVID-19, this coronavirus, what it is, it's actually called the SARS-CoV-2. There was a SARS-1 a few years ago, and now there's this SARS-2. So SARS-CoV-2, and the actual disease is the COVID-19 disease.
Wow.
Okay? Not the same as the flu. So we got to have people understand, do not get it twisted. This is not the same as the seasonal flu. This virus is a much more nastier virus. It replicates faster than the flu virus does, and it is 10 times more deadlier.
Right. So how do people, I think really, number one, if you're already obese, because if you're 15 pounds overweight, you're considered obese.
Yeah.
Correct.
But some are morbidly obese, because that means we're more than 15 pounds overweight.
Right.
So people are not going to be able to lose weight within 2 weeks, not a whole lot of weight. So what can they do to help build up their immune system?
Okay, so what you can do to build up your immune system, and it's gonna go back to the stuff that we were taught to do. You have to eat good food. You have
Right.
to eat fruits, vegetables. You got to stay away from fast foods. Okay, fast foods right now is not it. You have to eat, green vegetables, oranges, pears, apples, your fruits, your vegetables that our grandmothers and mothers cook.
True.
Those are the kinds of things we have to eat. Now, in terms of meat, I'm going to say that I would stick with um, grass-fed, the grass-fed meat, lean meat,
Mm-hmm.
uh, chicken that's free range. I would stick with those types of things and exercise. Maybe get out and walk, around the neighborhood a few times. Get out and just have, move your muscles. The other thing I'm going to say is as far as the social distancing, that is still in play, and I
Right.
would highly advise everyone to maintain the social distancing. I do realize that your president 45 is allowing the states to relax the rules and go out and mingle more, but I'm just telling you, as a physician, I would still maintain the social distancing. Wear your mask.
Right.
Now, if you can get the N95 mask, that's the best mask to get. If you can get it, it's hard to get.
E95. N
N95.
N95
But
mask is the best one.
N95 mask is the best mask to get.
Okay.
Now, if you can't get it, then you have to use what you have.
Right.
Okay. And then, of course, washing your hands. Make sure you wash your hands. The other thing I would do is wipe down all surfaces. So, like your handles, your cell phone, your computers, your laptops, the countertops, the door handles, the light switches, anything that you're prone to touching. Those things need to get wiped down, because what we know is the virus can stay on surfaces two days, maybe 3 days.
Mm-hmm.
But the virus is also very weak in the fact that if you use heat breaks down the lipid layer of the virus. The virus is composed of a lipid layer, so it's easily destroyed. So any disinfectant, any hot water, particularly if you have hydrogen peroxide, can actually kill it too. So if you have that, and there's a lot of that on the storage shelves, because not a lot of people know about that one.
Hydrogen
But,
peroxide.
Hydrogen peroxide, and
Okay.
put it in a spray bottle and just spray. That'll kill the virus.
Okay.
And there's a lot of that. There should be a lot of that in the stores, because not a lot of people know about that one.
That's true, and I do see
Yeah.
that because everybody's
Yeah.
buying the alcohol and all that other stuff. But the
Yeah,
hydrogen
but
peroxide,
will work.
and you don't have to
No.
dilute it; just put it in a spray bottle and spray it.
And spray. Missed it. Yep, missed it. Yes.
Let me ask you this question: I was watching
Yeah.
a celebrity. I think it was Therese. I can't say his name right, and he was saying that if you get in the bathroom or over a stove and put the hot water and put a towel up and let the steam come up your nose, that would help. Does that help?
Nah, I
No.
don't think that's not how it works.
That doesn't. Or okay. So
No, that's not going to work.
what
Yeah,
if they
the
have a
best- the
sauna?
best-
Everybody can't afford no sauna. I know I can't put one in my house right now. That
Yeah, no. The best thing, I mean, short of just you have to wear. See, the virus gets to you through the air droplet. So if people are talking to you or sneezing or coughing, that's how you can get the virus, because it gets transmitted through the air. That's why the 6 feet distancing is important. Okay. Now the other way you can get is people touching things. So your hands. What we tend to do is put our hands up to our face. Sometimes you don't even know you're doing it. And actually, there's a study that shows that it's possible that the face mask might actually be causing more harm than good, because you have to readjust your face mask, which means you have to touch your face.
right.
But that's a small study. However, when you put your face up to your hands, if you touch your eyes, if you touch your nose, near your mouth, the virus can get in that way. and it goes down into the oral pharynx area. Once it invades the lung, the virus then attacks the lung cells, particularly the type 2 pneumocytes, which create the surfactant which covers the lung, which is responsible for elasticity. It destroys that because the virus gets into the type 2 pneumocyte, and then it replicates. Once it replicates, then it causes that cell to die. Now, but that's not what people die of. People die of the immune response to the virus, which means your body mounts a immune response. It calls up all the interleukin 1s, the interleukin 6s, the tumor necrosing factors, which causes an inflammatory response in your lungs, which causes your lungs to get lobar pneumonia. And particularly it starts at the bottom of the lung and then it rises. Okay? Once that happens, then you have to be intubated. And then when you intubate it, you have less than a 15% chance of getting off the ventilator. So that's why it's important that people take the measures of social distancing, washing your hands, being cognizant of people coughing and sneezing.
Right. Now,
but go ahead.
So does the ventilator really help? Because there's been studies that the ventilator, when people get off, it doesn't allow the lungs to breathe on their own, and it doesn't strengthen them. And so then when they come off the ventilator, they die because the lungs didn't have a chance to really breathe on their own.
Okay, so the problem with that is, going back to my piece when I was talking about the lungs. So once the inflammatory response kicks in, what happens to your lungs? It's called ARDS, acute respiratory distress syndrome.
Right.
So your lungs start to shrivel up, and at that point, that's when you need to be on the vent. Okay. Now the problem with the vent is most people that get on the vent, a lot of people never make it off, and that's the sad part. A lot of people never make it. Maybe 15% of the people who get on the vent make it off, and when they do make it off, they're going to have lung issues, probably for the rest of their life. The mortality is pretty high. So if they get on the vent, they may be on the vent, particularly with this virus, anywhere from 7 to 14 days. They'll be on the vent before they can get off, if they can get off.
Right. So it's more like a 85% that you might die on the vent.
Yes, ma'am.
So is it really good to get on the vent at all? I mean, if you have an 80% chance of dying?
They're trying to keep people from being on the vent. So they're looking at other things to maybe like give people oxygen masks to take home, and put them on the oxygen mask as opposed to get on the vent. And one of the things about getting on the vent is if you're obese, you have a worse prognosis.
Okay.
Yeah.
So if you're overweight, you're going to have a worse prognosis than someone who's not overweight.
Exactly.
Wow. So we have to do better as a community. I mean, you know what, Dr. Polite, I noticed because we've been, my grandsons play sports, so they don't eat a lot of junk food and things like that, but it's more expensive to buy the right type of food.
Yeah, correct.
So I'm buying nuts and all kind of stuff, and it's good for you, but it costs a little more. So we have to be able to invest in what we put on the inside of us. A lot of people got their stimulus checks, and instead of buying good food, they were out there buying TVs and all kind of things like that. And I'm not judging anyone that's buying a television, but I'm saying the electronics and things were wiped out, but they won't take that same amount. I can't say everybody. A lot of people won't take that same type of money and invest in food that they're going to put inside their body. You can't always go the cheap way out if you want to be healthy.
Exactly. I totally agree. In fact, my late Uncle James Bishop, he used to have a garden, and I remember in the spring and summer times he would grow his tomatoes and beans and some other things, and I think we need to go back to that. I think we need to go back to, getting out and learning how to plant and to grow your own food and and supplement your meals that way.
Well,
You know?
I just want to say, just in case people don't know, the Uncle James you're talking about is Bishop James Waiters. I have to say that because of my local. Is that who you talking about?
Yes. Yep.
I was watching pictures on your Facebook and saw him holding you on his lap.
Oh, that was my
him or his
son.
Huh?
It may have been his
He
son.
was holding my son.
Oh, he
His
was holding your
his
son.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's amazing. That is amazing. So
Yep.
we're gonna continue to talk about this. So what about infusions? Because some people they think if they go and get an infusion that'll help them better.
When you say infusion, what type of infusion are you referring to? There's
Well, there's more than one type, but I mean like healthy, like vitamins and vitamin infusions and things of that nature.
Nah, I don't think that necessarily will help.
Right.
There again, just eating a balanced diet, being cognizant of your surroundings, being responsible for your health in terms of your coughing, sneezing, being careful about that, wiping down your surfaces, practicing social distancing. I think you'll do better doing that way, and doing exercise. Get out in the neighborhood and walk. Of course,
Right.
don't walk around. Don't walk right next to your neighbor, but get out and move around.
Yeah, get out and move because a lot of people are not moving around. They're in the house. Now, if you're in the house, you can still do some type of exercise. That doesn't
Yes.
mean that you can't do
Exactly.
anything because you're in the house.
Yes, because I know my wife and I, when I get home from work, because I'm still seeing patients, through telemedicine, we get out and we'll walk around the neighborhood. We'll do a loop, and then we'll come back in the house. But that's okay to do. But we do wear our masks.
Right.
And when we see people walking by, they're usually on the other side of the street. We'll wave, and But yeah, folks do need to get out of the house and walk.
I want to say thank you because that is a good way. You can still walk, although the gyms are closed, and a lot of the gyms, especially Planet Fitness, they even have people coming on showing you how to do exercises in the morning.
Yes.
And in the afternoons and things like that if you're inside of the house. So it's important that you exercise. Just because you're in the house doesn't mean that you can't stand up and down on your legs and do some exercises and walk. You have to get up off the couch, out of the chair, and do some exercises in order to build your immune system.
Correct.
I really, really appreciate it. We're getting ready for a break, and then we're going to come back. If you don't mind, Doc, can stay on a few more minutes with us. I would really appreciate. We would really appreciate that.
Okay.
Do you have that kind of time? I can't assume.
Probably got another 10 minutes.
Okay, then that's great.
Good.
That sounds that sounds good. Well, keep it locked. We'll be right back. You listen to In the Community with Dr. Thelma and Lady Parrish. We'll be right back. Well, I don't want to waste no minutes, but in about a few seconds, we'll be right back. So we want you to have someone to tune in to the Community with Dr. Thelma and Lady Parrish on 88.7, 100.3 FM. We have gospel, and we'll be right back with some more information with Dr. Robert Polite.
Greetings. This is Kaleem Shabazz, president of the Atlantic City branch of the NAACP. The NAACP is a civil rights and social justice organization fighting since 1909 to ensure that everyone is treated fairly in our nation. The NAACP does not endorse candidates. We do take a position on issues that impact social justice or civil rights. The May 12th special election in Atlantic City is an effort to negatively impact the civil rights of Atlantic City voters and will create a social injustice if approved. The NAACP encourages Atlantic City residents to vote no on the special election. The change of government will remove the ability of Atlantic City voters to have neighborhood representation, and the NAACP says vote no. The change of government would stop the voters from directly electing the mayor, and the NAACP says vote no. And finally, the change of government removes the voters' ability to have referendum and initiative, and the NAACP says vote no. When you receive your mail-in ballot, please fill it out, vote no, and place your ballot in the mail. Remember, vote no in the May 12th election in Atlantic City. Thank you.
Question: would you seat your 3-year-old child on a windowsill? And would you seat them in a car seat that's not the correct one? Secure their future. Seat them in the correct car seat. More info at safercar.gov/the-right-seat. A message from the National Highway Traffic Safety
Hawks
Administration and the
Janitorial
Ad Council.
Contractors Corp. was established in 1987 by husband and wife team William and Elaine Hawks. Our motto is a great job at a fair price. The Hawks team is skillful, customer-focused, delivering quality janitorial services that meet and exceed our clients' specific needs. Hawks Janitorial Contractors Corp. Proud sponsors of Gospel 88.7 FM. For more information, 609-484-0452.
Is that a faucet running?
That's not a faucet. That's a river rushing through the forest. Forest rivers provide over 100 million people with clean water to drink.
What? I can't hear you because of the vacuum.
That's not a vacuum. That's the trees in the forest cleaning up the air we breathe.
I didn't know the trees were so amazing.
Yep, and the forest gives us shade, trees to climb.
That's awesome. Let's go explore some more.
Visit the forest today and enjoy all it does, just for you. To learn more about the forest and find one near you, go to discovertheforest.org. Brought to you by the U.S. Forest Service and the Ad Council.
If you just tune in, you listen to In the Community with Dr. Thelma and Lady Parrish. And we're excited again to have our guest, Dr. Robert Polite. And we want everyone to know that this broadcast is being brought to you by the Hawks family businesses who have been serving our community for over 30 years. Beacon Hall, turning moments into memories, and Tabernacle Church of Christ, Bishop Otis Grayson and Shepherd Mother Betsy Grayson. So thank you so much for sponsoring our show. All right, Dr. Polite.
Yes.
We only have a few more minutes with you, and we want to thank you so much for calling in on our show and to help our community to help build up their immune system during this and after COVID-19. I don't think we'll ever get rid of it, but we can flatten the curve, and if we can get more healthier, it will help us in our community. And I really believe that a lot of people are dying because they have other underlying ailments that are going on. That's what they say. And if you have other things going on, you are more susceptible than someone who doesn't have it.
Correct.
That is correct,
Yes.
right? Now,
Yes.
What's the difference between organic and regular food? I know you're into the organic foods, because some people say they don't like organic. What's the difference between an organic and a regular piece of fruit?
Okay, so there's you have organic, and then you have what's known as GMO, which is genetically modified organism. Now, just by the name of that should kind of scare you. What these food companies tend to do is, in order for fruits and vegetables to last longer, they genetically modify the seeds so that they can withstand in bugs and things of that nature attacking the fruits and vegetables.
Right.
They make them so that they're not tasty to the bugs. So then they make them last longer. They put something in the genetic line so that it can ward off pestilence. That's what I was looking for. Also, they've learned how to make foods, like I say, last longer on the shelf, which, it's not natural. It's that's why they call it genetically modified.
Wow.
Um, so some of the things that we're eating, you think you're eating it, and it's not what you think. And the problem with that is when you eat some of these genetically modified foods. Let's take grain, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Grain 50 years ago doesn't look like the same grain today. So much so that the genetically modified stuff, when you eat it, when you take it in and it hits your stomach, and then your stomach churns it up, and then it goes into your small intestine where it is absorbed. That is actually where you have the most immune cells in your small intestine, stomach, small intestine. So your body sees things from the outside world once it hits that small intestine. And that's where your immune system starts to work. Well, if you've been eating fruits and vegetables for so many years, it knows what that looks like.
Right.
But when you start tinkering with the genetic DNA of some of these fruits and vegetables and grains, guess what? When you eat that stuff, your body's like, "What is this? We've never seen this before."
Well,
so then it builds an immune response
to
okay?
it. Well, how would people know? How would people know that they're eating a genetic fruit?
Well, you can look on the usually it'll say GMO. It'll say this is a GMO fruit or vegetable, or this is conventional. So it's conventional versus organic, and there's certain numbers. So if you look on the fruits, they usually have little stamps on there with certain numbers,
Mm-hmm.
and I think it changes from time to time. If you see I think it's like. I know the conventional fruits have a certain number, so you just have to look on the fruits because they do stamp them. They do tell you this is conventional versus organic. I would stick with the organic versus the conventional, which could be genetically modified.
Wow. So sometimes you think you're eating good and you're not eating well at all if you're eating the right fruits and vegetables and it's genetically modified. This could be causing other medical problems.
Yeah, it could. Because remember, and I'm not saying all genetically modified foods are bad. I'm not going to say that. But what I am going to say is you have to look at and let's look at the grains in particular. When they start monkeying around with the genetic material, you start eating this stuff, you can start getting certain diseases. That's why they're starting to think that some of these people have gluten intolerances because they've messed around with the genetic material in some of these grains. So when they grow this wheat and these grains, they're changing. They're changing this whole structure of it, and your body doesn't understand or know what it is. So then it creates immune responses, which then leads to people getting, gluten sensitivity and other sensitivities and intolerances, and then it just causes a whole cascade of problems.
Wow.
But that's a topic for another discussion.
That is a topic for another discussion, and you're supposed to learn something new every time. So now you know to look on your fruit where it is stamped, and if it says GMO, because they do have that little white thing on the fruit, and if it says GMO or conventional, you know that the seeds and things have already been chemically messed with. Modified. Genetically modified, and you want to look at that. So,
yeah,
oh my goodness.
Genetically modified
Organism. Wow, that's deep.
We have two questions for him.
We have a question. Lady Parrish is going to give us the question.
Okay, this question is coming from, and the name might sound familiar, Cheryl Jenkins. Can you ask Dr.
Cheryl.
Bob, hey Cheryl, how effective is hand sanitizer? I know washing your hands the best, but sometimes that's all you have is the hand sanitizer.
Okay, the hand sanitizer is it's going to help, but I'm going to put a plug in. You don't want to overuse the hand sanitizer.
Okay.
Because at some point, it's not going to do as well. You should go to using good old fashioned warm to hot water and soap. So I would break it up. If you're going to use the hand sanitizer at some point during the day, go to use, wash your hands with warm soapy water for at least 5 minutes, 2 to 5 minutes, so it can kill everything. And then, because the hand sanitizer, if you keep using it, at some point you're just, without getting too technical, you can create a superbug if you just constantly use the hand sanitizers. The same bacteria and viruses that are on your hand, at some point they're going to get used to that, and then they're going to start to adapt, and then it's not going to work. So I would use it sparingly, but I would still go back to warm soapy water to wash your hands.
All right. She has another.
You don't want to overuse it.
What do you say?
Okay, you don't want to overuse it, and it should have alcohol in it, because just using sanitizer is just not enough. All right. She has another question.
Second question from Miss Yvonne Johnson. Another name that may sound familiar. Question:
Yeah,
Dr. Polite mentioned that he wears his mask when he's walking in the community. If you're not in close contact with anyone, should I still be wearing my mask?
No, you don't necessarily need to do that. Only when you're if you're going to the supermarket, you should definitely wear your mask. Okay. If you're going to the post office and there's people in the post office, maybe 6 feet, I would still wear my mask. If you're driving in your car going somewhere, you don't need to wear your mask.
Okay, that's really good. And I want to interject right here is that if you don't wear the mask, and they have notes on the door saying you have to wear the mask, and if you don't wear it, it's a possibility you can get arrested. And there's no need of getting locked up over a mask.
Somebody did in Atlantic City.
Somebody got arrested this week because they were defiant and went to 3 different places and said that the only way that they were going to put a mask on, they would have to arrest them. Well, they did get arrested. They didn't realize that all of them will arrest you, but you're going to get arrested in EHT.
Oh, yeah.
You will get arrested in EHT, and I ain't mad at the law enforcement either. I'm just saying, if you don't wear the mask on the public transportation, in the supermarket, at the Wawa, they can call the police on you. There's no need of getting upset about that. Everybody's trying to stay safe.
Yeah, I would just wear the mask.
Wear it.
It's better to be in compliance than not, because, and honestly, who really needs to wear the mask are the people that are sick. Those are the ones that really need to wear the mask. But, I understand everyone has to wear the mask, and if they're making it where they're going to fine you, if you don't, wear your mask.
Right.
Just wear your mask.
What would you like to leave with our listening audience, Dr. Polite? We really appreciate you calling in to our show today to talk to our listening audience today.
Okay, so what I'm going to say is this virus, this COVID, this SARS-CoV-2 coronavirus, COVID-19 is a very nasty virus. It's 10 times more virulent, more contagious than the flu. If you are immune suppressed and you catch this, you will go down fast. So what I will say is practice social distancing. Wash your hands. Wash the surfaces that you touch or you're familiar with, even in your car, your steering wheel, the throttle, the handles. Wipe it all down. Okay. Practice social distancing. Eat well, meaning no fast foods, fruits, vegetables. Get daily exercise, either in your house or walk around your house or around the neighborhood, because you really don't want to get this disease.
Absolutely not. Can I ask you one more question? Because it just hit me. The vaccine.
Yeah.
All right. A lot of people, they have trial studies with the vaccine, and I saw on CNN when the man took the trial study, he died. It was after that. So this vaccine that is getting ready to come out, I know it takes a year and a half. If people take the trial studies of the vaccine, it's a 50-50. And they tell you that you may make it and you don't make it. But most of the people who took the vaccine died. when this is all over with, would you recommend people taking a COVID vaccine?
Don't be the first one to get it.
That's what I say.
Don't be the first one. And I'm a physician, and I believe in the science, but I also believe there may be some casualties with that first group that takes the vaccine. That's how it always happens. I wouldn't be the first one to take it, but I would wait and see. Let some other people take it before you jump in. But eventually, we probably will need to get it because if you don't get the vaccine, everyone's going to get this virus. Everyone's going to get it at some point in their life. We're all going to get it. Okay. But as far as the vaccine, I'm not going to be the first one to jump in line.
All right.
Just one last question. You may recognize this name. Evangelist Wilma Skinner wants to know that if you're sitting on your porch, do you need your mask? Can I answer that for her?
If people like to come up and talk to you, you need to have your mask.
All right, you answered it. Yes, put that mask on, Skinner.
But if they're out there by themselves and nobody's talking to
Never
you,
bothers.
then they don't need the mask. But if people are saying, "Hey, how you doing, Evangelist Skinner?" and want to have a whole conversation, did you make some potato salad and fried chicken? Yeah, did you need to have on your mask and talk to Evangelist Skinner? Right. That's it.
Right.
I want to thank you so much. We want to thank you, Dr. Polite, for taking our time to call in on our program today. May God continue to bless you and your family and keep you safe as you continue to help those in our community, in your community.
Well, God bless you all.
Thank you.
All right. We want to thank Dr. Polite for calling in, and we have a few things that we want to make sure that everybody is aware of. There has been some issues with the $1,200 stimulus check, because some people went to went to H&R Block and TurboTaxes, and they were unable to get their payments.
Right.
Some parents reported that they didn't get their $500. Now this was in WashingtonPost.com. Now I don't know how they're fixing it. Several million Americans who filed their taxes with H&R and TurboTax didn't get their stimulus check.
The people in Tallahassee said it went into the accounts of the people who prepared their taxes. So they were all bombarding this place on, I think, Thursday, and you saw it on the news. It was hundreds of people in front of this tax office saying that their tax check was stimulus check was deposited into the person who prepared the taxes.
So that's an issue, so you want to make sure that you know who's preparing your taxes
And where your money went.
and where your money went. Okay, it didn't mean you didn't get it. It's just whoever prepared it, it went in their account and didn't go in yours.
Absolutely.
So you want to check.
And you know what, Dr. Witherspoon?
Yeah.
It's easy to check 6 letters. IRS.gov.
Yes.
IRS.gov. You will see all kind of things there for you to just press 1, find out where your money is.
Find out where your money is, okay?
Or your money.
Yeah, not nobody else's money.
Your money.
Your money. Yeah, so that's very, very important, and a lot of people wanted to know too if they were taking care of their parents and claimed them. You don't get a $500 payment for that. You don't get a $500 payment for your parent. All right, it's basically your dependent children. Okay. Okay, so the additional amount isn't available for other dependents, like maybe a parent you support. All right, it's for your children. The other thing is, if you are not paying your bills, if rent, there is help for mortgages and for people who have cars and all this. There's no help for people who rent. There's no help for people who rent. RENT, rent. So don't get behind thinking that you can use the COVID-19 and not pay your rent, you're going to get set out. Okay? So if you have the money to pay your rent, please pay your rent. It's important.
And also, if your landlord says you don't have to pay it, we understand, get it in writing, because words don't mean anything. You get a statement that says you're going to be exempt for your rent for this month or until May, but get it in writing.
Yeah, and a lot of people have been able to defer their car note, but you got to pay the interest.
Yes.
You don't get the car note payment deferred and then you don't pay the interest, you're going to be back in the same position. So or make sure that you're paying the interest. If you get a deferment on your car note or your mortgage, pay the interest so that it will keep you in good standing until you come. Now, I believe they cannot put this on your credit. So keep check of your credit report to make sure that your credit report is clean, because when we come out of this pandemic, and we will come out, when this curve is flattened with the coronavirus, you want your credit and stuff to be in order. This is a good time to get your credit in order.
Yeah.
It's a good time to get your credit in order, pay off some bills, pay the stuff on time. So when Corona is over, when the coronavirus is not over, flattened, you will be in good standing. The Bible says that a good name is rather to be chosen than silver and gold. So you don't want to get behind and use the coronavirus as a scapegoat.
Right.
If you have the money, use it to keep your stuff paid and current so you are not delinquent. That would be a worse problem, because economically and health-wise, as a whole, in the African American and minority community, we're behind.
Yeah.
We're lagging. That's the bottom line. So we need to get that together as a people. Not everybody. I'm not saying everybody. Some of you are got your stuff in order. I'm talking about as a whole. We need to get that stuff in order so we will be in a better position in the event that something like COVID-19 was to come again.
That's right. Absolutely.
That's how you agree that?
I agree with it. Get your house in order.
Get your house in order, okay? I think that that's very important, that we do that as a community, as a group, that some people have been able to. Listen, I also want to say everybody has not died from the coronavirus.
That's right. That's right. And I read that sometimes they're saying coronavirus related. We know a lady just passed away, good friend of ours, and she did not die of the coronavirus.
And that was put in the newspaper.
And we heard you. You know who you are because you're listening. We heard you. We know that your grandmother did not die of the coronavirus.
Right.
It was a mistake or whatever they did, because they're saying blame it on it. The ad, I don't know what's that about, but we know that. And you do have our sympathy and our condolences in the passing of your grandmother.
And everyone who has lost someone from the coronavirus, but people are dying and they don't have the coronavirus.
Right.
People are dying every day without the coronavirus.
Right.
And when people die, they automatically blame it on the coronavirus.
Right.
And that's not absolutely the case. So if you don't know what you're talking about, don't say anything. Pray for people. Don't assume because someone died that they died from the coronavirus. All right? We don't want to be out there doing the wrong thing, saying the wrong thing.
You can get sued.
You can get sued for that.
Yes.
And you don't want to take your stimulus check and
and have to pay a lawyer.
I had to pay a lawyer because you're out there saying something that you don't know what you're talking about. Pray for people. And even if they have passed for the coronavirus, it's not our place. Right. Unless the family wants to share that they died from the coronavirus, is to put that out there like that. Okay, don't do that. Please don't do that. And I want to make sure that our listening orders is protected, and we're doing the right thing, and that we're sensitive. Another thing, this is not the time to sit on the judgment seat.
That's right.
And saying why people are dying from the coronavirus. God is speaking to them, and they ain't doing the right thing. That's not our responsibility.
It's not even our business.
Just sit on the judgment seat. Right. That's God's job. That's God's job. So let's pray for people. Let's be sensitive to people who have lost loved ones. They love their loved ones like we love our loved ones.
Absolutely.
That's the bottom line.
Bottom line.
We love our loved ones. And another thing is to check on your loved ones in the nursing home, because you can't get there.
So it happened.
Right. And a lot of people are dying from the coronavirus in the nursing homes and in the prisons. You want to check on your loved ones. They may have done something wrong, but that doesn't mean that they should not be protected even in that situation, you know? So I want everyone to check on your loved ones. It doesn't hurt to call, write a letter, do something, and find out how they're doing, because you can't visit. You know, find out how they're doing. If they call you at home, and answer the phone call.
Right. Even if it's collect.
Even if it's collect, you don't have to talk to them every day. But at least answer the phone call so you'll know exactly what's going on and how they're doing, even in the penal system. I think that that's very important, because a lot of people are not doing that.
Right.
Okay? If you are homeless, I received a call from Dr. Hope Gallagher, and I gave her the 211 number.
Right.
You can call 211, and if someone is homeless, they have a prompt. They can dial 21, and then they will get them situated for being homeless. So there are things that are out there that we got. There's tools. There's stuff that you can use in order to help other people. You can't take everybody, and you can't help everybody, but we can help as many people as we can as possible, right? And there are tools out there to help people who are that are homeless, that don't have any food, called 211. Also, the food bank has places where people can call in order to get food. All right? They have an emergency. You can go right over to the food bank and get some food if you need that food. We're getting ready to go. Come on, Lady Parrish, do you have something you want to leave with?
Yeah, I think it's food bank is going to give out food next week. Out there at
the mall.
At the mall.
Right. That's on the 22nd. The 22nd. And then that's local 54. That's the casino employees.
Yes, okay.
So you have to have an ID. You have to have an ID in order to get that food from the Shore Mall on the 22nd from 10 to 2 p.m. Again, on Tuesday, you can call. I want to congratulate Councilman Kaleem Shabazz, Yolanda Millville, and Sierra. I want to call her by her grandfather's name, Logan, but that's not her last name. And I want to congratulate them on the award that they received, the recognition that they received in our community. Governor Murphy will be calling in on the NAACP show with Kaleem Shabazz and Yolanda Millville, and I believe that's on Tuesday. Yeah, it is Sierra Logan, and they all received the South Jersey African American Power List 2020, presented by the Front Runner New Jersey. So we want to congratulate Councilman Kaleem Shabazz, Attorney Yolanda Millville, and Sierra Logan. So again, congratulations. Stay safe. Continue to wash your hands with hot water and soap. Social distancing is very, very important.
Gospel 88.7 WEHA.
And that's it.
It's more than music. It's ministry.
On FM Translator 100.3 W262CF, Atlantic City,
Greetings.
Pleasantville.
This is Kaleem Shabazz, president of the Atlantic City branch of the NAACP. The NAACP is a civil rights and social justice organization fighting since 1909 to ensure that everyone is treated fairly in our nation. The NAACP does not endorse candidates. We do take a position on issues that impact social justice or civil rights. The May 12th special election in Atlantic City is an effort to negatively impact the civil rights of Atlantic City voters and will create a social injustice if approved. The NAACP encourages Atlantic City residents to vote no on the special election. The change of government will remove the ability of Atlantic City voters to have neighborhood representation, and the NAACP says vote no. The change of government will stop the voters from directly electing the mayor and the NAACP says vote no. And finally, the change of government removes the voters' ability to have referendum and initiative, and the NAACP says vote no. When you receive your mail-in ballot, please fill it out, vote no, and place your ballot in the mail. Remember, vote no in the May 12th election in Atlantic City. Thank you.
Hawks, a name that has been trusted for almost 30 years in the janitorial services industry, is proud to present Hawks Professional Moving Services, fully insured, local and long distance, packing services, commercial and residential, no job too small or too large, friendly and reliable services. For more information or a free estimate, 609-484-0452. Hawks Professional Moving Services, where we treat your belongings like our own.
It's a new year, and it's time to get activated. The Atlantic City NAACP will host a 30-minute radio show every Tuesday at 5 p.m. on WEHA. Informative guests, current affairs, local topics, and up-to-date information will be provided. Join us every Tuesday at 5 p.m. because when we fight, we win.